Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we have all kinds of big TSM news to talk about, a couple different stories. So if you're a fan of TSM, or if you like preying on their downfall and laughing at them as, things kind of go pretty crazy and pretty terrible over there over the past couple years, this is going to be the video for you. So we're going to start with this article from Alejandro Gomis, who tweeted out and posted this article about Flanelista. I'm not sure if that's exactly how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm going to say it. Has reached a verbal agreement with TSM to become their head coach in the LCS. Here we have, according to sources close to Blix, Flanelista has reached a verbal agreement with TSM and will be the head coach of the LCS team. He has been through different teams as he first started competing as an AD carry of Tempo Storm in NA, but he quickly changed his role to analyst for Flamengo Esports. Before finishing his time as an analyst for Flamengo, Revan transitioned to coach the Brazilian team. In Cloud9, he started being the assistant coach and translator of the main team, but the Cloud9 Academy project in 2023 was taken by him as head coach, and they won the last split of the NACL. So he's coming off a big championship win with Cloud9 Academy, and now he's ready to move on up to bigger and better things. Of course, this is part of the bigger kind of reported Korean movement that TSM is now kind of taking part in. He obviously has great translation skills. Obviously, his English is good, his Korean is good, so that is going to help there in a lot of different ways. Not exactly sure what TSM's plan is in terms of, going Korean this split or going Korean more in 2024 or beyond, or what the heck's going on. And also, I really don't read into too much whatever TSM says their plan is, or I don't really care too much what TSM says their plan is, because look at over the past couple splits. And over the past couple years, we heard, in 2022, TSM was going to go super hard on winning. They were going to try and create another super team. Then that fell through. Then they end up with, Kaiduo and kind of the team speaks Mandarin. And this was supposed to be, hey, guys, this is going to be a multi-year project. Like, give us some time. And then it ended up being like a one-split project or like a one-year project. And then they're changing things up again. And now they're going Korean. Like, they're just kind of bouncing all over the place. TSM obviously has no idea what the hell they're doing. They have no clear direction. They have no sense of what it takes to become an LCS team at a high level or a good business or anything. Like, they're really just kind of making shit up as they go. They're constantly changing things. People are coming and going, getting fired. I get some of it has to do with budgeting and cost cutting and everything too, but let's not lie and say that none of that could have been planned for or foreseen as well. This is all part of their just kind of total overall lack of business direction and competitive direction. So now they say, hey, we're going to go a little bit more Korean-centric, Korean-focused, bringing in a guy who speaks English and Korean, been around, in NA and all this stuff. We'll see how it goes. From what it seems like, obviously this guy seems to be a good coach, seems to be well-respected, but, who knows how that'll translate to the LCS level? Who knows how that'll translate to the TSM team specifically? And, of course, it's also going to matter kind of the resources that he's given and the players that he's given as well. That leads us to the next big story that Alejandro tweeted out. Sources, Ruby has reached a verbal agreement with TSM and will be the North American team's mid laner. Ruby will leave the LEC after competing with Heretics. So, Ruby, a Korean import into the LEC, was playing with Heretics. He is now on his way to TSM. And this is leaving a lot of people scratching their heads. Top comment here, TSM going bankrupt after summer split for sure. I Will Dominate going to lose his mind. The most TSM signing of all time. Me watching my favorite team somehow make the worst roster decision for the past 3 years, which is just absolutely hilarious when you have TSM fans even saying this stuff. Because again, so much of the drama between me and TSM and Dunk and all these people was the fact that all I was saying was, hey, TSM is making some weird signings. They're making some bizarre moves. They're making signings that don't make sense, and their team isn't going to be good. And hey, that was me being a TSM hater. That was me being an idiot. That was me being delusional, whatever. Yet here we are a couple of years later where even their own fans are starting to say a lot of this stuff, even though, their fans were the people that hated on me too and supported kind of these guys being idiots and running their organization into the ground. It is what it is. I've gotten to watch and laugh and smile and just be, whatever the word is, as TSM's downfall has just kind of continued. Now you're getting to the point where even their fans are starting to say some of this stuff, which is just hilarious. But Ruby as a new mid laner for TSM, a little bit strange because this guy just played a couple of splits in the LEC and people were not very impressed with him. When you look at some of his stats on Oracle Elixir, his stats are actually not that bad from the LEC. We can see here if we go to mid lane, KDA. In terms of KDA, Ruby was kind of middle of the pack, lower middle of the pack with a 2.8 KDA overall, which of course is not great. His first blood percentage was towards the bottom of the league. His laning stats, this is in the winter split, were not good. You know, really bad laning stats. Towards the bottom in gold differential at 10, towards the bottom in XP differential at 10, and kind of middle of the pack in XP at 10 differential. But damage per minute was actually okay. His damage per minute is second highest during this split, but you can see here also, you know, maybe you don't want to read into damage per minute too much because you have caps at the very bottom. You have guys like Larson and Nuke towards the bottom as well, Certus, you know, a lot of guys that people would overall say are very good. Now you have perks at the top, but you have to take everything into account with context and the team and winning and all this different stuff. But his stats weren't that bad, and then in spring, kind of a lot of the same stuff. You know, middle of the pack in terms of KDA, sitting there at 3.4. He had a little bit better laning stats this split, I believe. You know, still fourth lowest in XP differential at 10, kind of middle of the pack in terms of CSD, actually a positive CSD at 10, and then gold differential, he was actually only minus 13, so close to even in lane at 10 minutes in the spring split. Maybe it seemed like things were getting a little bit better. And in terms of damage per minute, he was the highest. Now, take into account that these are very few games. It's like 9 games and then 10 games, and also it depends, you know, what champions you're playing. It depends on your team's place out, all these things, but as far as the stats go, you know, definitely not a terrible player, definitely not a terrible mid laner, but as far as the eye test goes for a lot of different people, many people think Ruby is not very good. I think that's overall the community sentiment, the community opinion, and the fact that TSM has scouted him and brought him in is really not shocking, not surprising to a lot of people, because TSM always seems to do the weirdest, the most bizarre, the strangest move, the move that everyone would say to not do. TSM really seems to be on board for doing, which is really funny because we have Kaze, obviously a former TSM employee, well-respected analyst in the League of Legends community. You know, he's been all over. He replied to this move. He said, strange. And then he said, well, not really, LOL. Meaning, of course, hey, this is a strange move, but for TSM, this is not strange at all. And man, it's just, I don't know what the word is, sad, funny, whatever, the fact that this is what TSM's reputation is nowadays, and it's entirely their fault. You know, they have really ran this thing into the ground. Finally, last rumor coming out from LCS Eevee. He says sources the full TSM LCS Summer Split roster is likely to be Haunter, Buggy, Ruby, Wild Turtle, and Chime. So at least in the summer split of 2023, it does not seem like they're going to be going full Korean just yet. But it does seem like they're getting some pieces in place, like Ruby, like their new coach Flanalista, to maybe set up a more Korean-centric roster going forward in the future. Again, who knows what that means 2024 or what the heck their plan is. But this is all the latest news for TSM up to this point. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely thank you so much for watching. Drop a like if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about anything we talked about in this video today. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.